Good morning, everyone. So you get a twofer today. So you not only get your 10 a.m. morning story time from me, Mr. Alexander, from the River Park branch of the St. Joseph County Public Library, but you also are still getting the live story time later this afternoon. So this morning, your special surprise is President Taft is Stuck in the Bath by Mac Barnett and Chris Van Duzen. Thank you for Candlebook Press. You guys have been really coming in clutch and let me read a bunch of these picture books. So, quick primer before we get started. William Howard Taft was the 27th President of the United States. He busted monopolies, instituted the federal income tax, and became the only president to also serve as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Oh, busted monopolies, if only. But today, President Taft is stuck in his bathtub. "Blast!" said Taft. "This could be bad." He squeezed and shimmied. He hefted and stretched. He gripped the rim of the tub and attempted to lift himself. But it was no use. President Taft was stuck in the bath. Taft took a deep breath and tugged his mustache. "Think, Taft," said Taft. "Use that big noggin and cook up a plan." Can confirm pulling on the mustache helps. 2 hours passed. The water got cold, and President Taft was still stuck in the bath. "I hope," said Taft, "that nobody notices I am missing." Someone knocked at the door. "Double blast! Blast and drat!" "Willie?" Oh dear, it was Taft's wife, First Lady of the United States of America. "You've been in there a while. Is everything fine?" Taft splashed in the bath. "Yes, Nellie," he said. "I'm just scrubbing my back." "I see," Nellie said. "Are you really quite sure?" "Oh, blast!" shouted Taft. "Why can't a man have a nice quiet bath?" Nellie said, "Sorry, Willie." She sniffed. Taft felt bad. "My love," said Taft, "I am stuck in the bath." "So you are," said Nellie. She thought, well, perhaps. "It's a disaster," said Taft. "Yes, but perhaps." "Blast perhaps," shouted Taft. "We need action. A plan. Please be a sweetie and call the Vice President." Big brains at home. Do you know who Taft's Vice President was? The Vice President came and stood by the tub. "Well, Jim," said Taft, "I am stuck in the bath." "I see," said the VP. "Well, you've called the right man. I am ready to be sworn in as the President of the United States of America." "Blast that!" bellowed Taft. "A preposterous plan." "Perhaps," said the First Lady. "Call the Secretary of State," shouted President Taft. I particularly like the dog. "Mr. Secretary," said Taft, "I'm stuck in the bath." "Indeed," said the Secretary of State. "Let me put this diplomatically. A man of great stature need not be of great girth, and so—" "Blast, man!" shouted Taft. "Are you calling me fat?" No, sir," the Secretary of State was taken aback. "But certainly a diet, combined with calisthenics—" "Blast diets," said Taft. "I need something fast." "Should we swear me in as president now?" asked the Vice President. "Call the Secretary of Agriculture." You guys are getting a nice lesson on this cabinet structure of the United States of America's executive office. "Mr. Secretary," said Taft, "I'm stuck in the bath." Said the Secretary. "A huge vat of butter should do the trick. We have 50 farmers milk 50 cows. If Congress spends the night churning, we'll have enough. We'll grease up your sides and outsides of the tub. Then it'll be easy. You'll slide right out." Anyone who's gotten things stuck on their finger knows butter works. Blast butter, said Taft. As soon as I'm out, I'll just need a bath. Perhaps, said the First Lady. Call the Secretary of War. Which we don't have anymore. Mr. Secretary, said Taft, I'm stuck in the bath. Yes, we'll soon see to that. With what? Dynamite. Taft was aghast. We'll just need a few sticks of TNT and a rather long fuse, and boom, you'll be free. We'll blast this old tub into smithereens. Blasting, said Taft. That's dangerous, man. You'd be wearing a helmet, said the Secretary of War. No. Don't you think President James Schoolcraft Sherman sounds catchy, said the Vice President. No. Perhaps, said the First Lady. Call the Secretaries of the Navy, Treasury, and Interior, shouted President Taft. Send deep-sea divers into the tub, said Secretary of the Navy. Throw money at the problem, said Secretary of the Treasury. The answer is inside you, said the Secretary of the Interior. That's not what the Secretary of the Interior does. Blast that, and that, said President Taft. It is clear I am unfit for office. A president cannot govern while stuck in the bath. Am I to be carried around this great nation in a tub, borne aloft on the backs of 6 young men like a princeling from antiquity? No, it is un-American. Taft waved his right hand. Fetch the Chief Justice. I will resign. Let's swear Sherman in. Wait, said the First Lady. Let's not be rash. There's 8 of us here. Perhaps if we stopped using our brains and just used our arms, we could pull Willie out of the bath. It was a pretty good plan. And so those 8 great minds rolled up their sleeves, and they yanked and they tugged. At first, Taft wouldn't budge. But then came a squeak, and a slap, and a snap, and just like that, President Taft flew from the bath. There were many glad cries. Taft kissed his wife. A celebration ensued, and someone called in a band. There was dancing and snacks. The Secretary of State raised his glass. A toast, he said, to President Taft. Worry not, great man. 100 years hence, no one will recall you were stuck in the bath. Our grandchildren's grandchildren will read of your many great feats. The crowd broke into applause. Speech, speech, they all said. The band stopped. Taft cleared his throat. Those gathered were rapt. Would someone hand me a robe? He asked. And that's that. And that was President Taft is stuck in the bath. Your early morning civics lesson on the structure of the executive branch of the United States government in the early 20th century. Also a very, very funny story about a big man stuck in a bath by Mac Barnett. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name was Mr. Alexander. We've got another story time coming to you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. from the St. Joseph County Public Library. Until then, have a good week.